Todar could feel the blackness he'd fallen into fading away. He was afraid. The doll had captured him. If the cloaked man was speaking the truth, Todar himself was now another cursed doll, doomed to roam this train for eternity. He didn't want to see. Yet, still, the world came into focus. He was on the floor, being dragged slowly. The sound of porcelain was slow. He lifted his head and looked down towards his feet. Still human feet, still normal size, but at the other end was the porcelain doll of his brother, pulling him down the car by the laces of his shoes.
I cannot harm you.
Todar focused more as his consciousness settled back into place. The doll raised its arms, revealing shattered broken ends. It stared up at him with as much emotion as its still shining face could convey. Sorrow. Your hands are broken?
I cannot harm you if I do not have hands.
Why would you break your own hands?
I cannot harm my brother.
It's really you. It's my brother. How did you get here? How long have you been here?
The master. He made me. No time to talk. Follow me. Almost there.
Todar followed the doll the rest of the way. One more door, one more passage, and then there they were. The ending room, the front of the train. An unusual hum resonated in the chamber, unlike anything Todar had heard before. A boiler was at the forefront of the room, walls of various computers and inputs flanking it. An unusual console stood at the center of the room, something else, unlike anything Todar had ever seen before. This is so bizarre. I've never seen an engine room like this. The boiler generator is standard, but the rest, none of this makes sense. A primitive mind doesn't comprehend the excellence of higher minds and the technology they develop. Don't bother understanding what you cannot possibly fathom. And there he was, the master, the cloaked figure standing at the door, his threatening aura larger than his actual frame, his voice filling the room. He sauntered slowly and proudly towards Todar. Look, I won. I got here first, before you. We had a deal. We did. Congratulations. You win what you wanted, but... Shut up! I have questions before anything else. I know you're the master. My brother told me that name. You told me that name. What is this train? This is beyond anything I've ever seen before. It's not a train, my dear boy. My people were far more advanced in our evolution and discoveries of science than your species is today. When your ancestors went from sea to mud. This is a TARDIS, a ship capable of travel across all space and all of time. The train was a disguise made many innumerable years ago when I isolated myself on this wretched planet. Well, that's bullshit, but moving on. Where's Elise? You really want her to be alive, don't you? To be locked away in some alcove to be rescued so she can praise your bravery and worth to the family. I'm almost sorry to disappoint you. She is dead. She is little more than a doll, pushed on by instinct and my own instruction. She is no longer any use to me. All that matters is my TARDIS, access to space and time without limit. This planet, this singular temporal existence, is tiresome. It's beneath me. Those words, the master pulled the doll of Elise from within his robes and threw it across the room. Soft moans came from it, but it lay stationary on the ground. Todar wanted to react, but stood firm, eyes locked with the master's own reddened eyes. Why is she different from my brother? She's still flesh, still human. He's porcelain. Why is that? Foolish boy. Dreams and desires and folly. You are truly a more broken person than even I, and that is certainly saying something. You really thought you found your long-lost, long-forgotten brother after all this time? Would you have protected him after this? Loved him, dressed him and played with him, the psychopath and his little toy brother? What a beautiful end to a sordid tale. Answer the fucking question! Because he's a lie, a fake, part of a process that began long ago before I even thought to manipulate your life. My people took your brother long, long ago. They erased him from memory, but I needed you. I needed to curate your existence for my own purposes. I tried to fix your memory as best I could, so you'd always remember someone who never existed. I made sure you lived a long life of feeling uncertain, unlistened to, unappreciated, and unloved. I made sure you were broken. What are you talking about? Fragile minds break easier. A broken mind can release the psychic output needed to power the final remnants of my TARDIS's systems, allowing me to leave this planet. Your mind is primed to explode in a beautiful way. And when your mind is dead, your body will be mine. As you can see, my current form is less than satisfactory. Young, fresh, nubile flesh will allow me to progress my plans far more effectively. The doll was a creation, a ploy to lure you right here where I needed you. Todar backed away slowly from the master's advances, moving closer to the crippling heat of the generator. Your plan has a flaw, Master. You did too much. You can't break me because I've already been broken. I've been through so much. I've been hurt so much, cried so much, hated myself and others so hard over so many years. None of that made me weak. It made me stronger. It made me this man standing before you now. I'm not falling over for some rotting corpse in a robe. I've survived worse than you, even if you instigated all of it. Pretty words, my child, but I don't need your words. My powers are far stronger than your will. The master raised a hand to his temple, and Todar felt his mind being attacked. Floods of memories ricocheted through his mind, cutting it apart like paper. The memory of his grandmother's death, the day his parents died, every fight with his cousins and aunt, the failed loves of his life, the torture of the institution he was locked up in, the times he was molested and abused, the times he was betrayed. Then, in a far corner of his mind, he saw a memory that had been unobtainable for so very long. The image of cloaked regal figures appearing, gently picking up his young brother and disappearing from sight, allowing only enough time for the panicked twins to reach out to each other, briefly touching fingers before being split apart for the last time. Todar thought he would actually break, but his collapse was interrupted by the quick clank of ceramic and the sound of the monster crying out.
"Stay out of this, you meddlesome contraption!"
Todar, ship is still train generator still active.
Silence! No. He's right. Proton drive, standard for dimensional grafting. And on this scale, to this extreme, this engine is probably bursting. That's why the power's dying. It's overdoing it. What if I open the service hatch and let it vent?
The master moved forward, then felt a twinge of cautiousness and held himself back. He pointed at Todar with an intense, menacing stare and spoke.
"You fool. The explosion would be catastrophic. There'd be no surviving, no escape. You have only one choice." You're threatening me with the fear of death. I lost my family, my cousin, my brother, my money, my future. You really think I would want to protect myself? You are only human. Precisely. I'm selfish. You get nothing.
Todar swung open the grate of the boiler. A sudden wave of intense heat and light flooded the room, burning and singeing everything around, causing computers to explode, gears and mechanisms to melt, corrode, break down, and die. Todar's vision was lost to pure white glowing, and while he didn't see the master incinerated by the explosion, he heard the screams of pain and anguish that were then stifled by silence. He closed his eyes and prepared to give in to the flames of the generator. He felt at peace. He felt free. He felt vindicated. And then he felt awake. Todar opened his eyes and found himself in the charred, crumpled remains of the engine room. The generator now dead, the central console destroyed and sparking, and no signs of life. He slowly pulled himself up, feeling extreme soreness flow through his body. He wasn't sure how he survived, but somehow he had. As he got up, he heard objects hit the floor. He stared down. The crumpled and singed remains of the doll that was his sister were now at his feet, and next to them, shattered pieces of porcelain. Todar bent back down, wincing slightly, as he picked up a single piece that was mostly intact and, most important, the face of his brother. Even though he knew the doll was a lie and not his actual brother, it was still all he had of him. Todar spent the next several weeks tearing every part of the train left over from the explosion apart, ripping out anything that looked functional, and even a few parts that seemed unsalvageable. He winced at every breeze and every creak, always feeling the haunting aura of the master in the back of his mind. Finally, when he was done, he had the train returned to the garbage heap it had come from, and he abandoned his family. There was no letter, no parting, no notice. He left. This is where The story ends. The audience's voices rose in dissatisfied bewilderment at this lackluster ending. Surely some record of him existed beyond this. The curator raised his hands up, hoping to quell their volume. I know, but the sad part about history is that it's so often unfinished. Fortunately, this story does have an ending. One you're all privileged to take part in. The audience became boisterous again, but for a different reason. Intrigue. You see, Todar tried to destroy this train system as best as he could, but as the master, the cloaked man, said, it was secretly a much more complex ship. Todar didn't know about its true inner workings. So the ship has laid dormant in slumber for all these many, many years, just waiting for a moment like today. Surrounded by open, absorbing, inquiring minds, asking questions, listening to stories, imagining. So much psychic power, so much untapped raw human potential. Now, if all of you would just look into my eyes. Yes, that's right, all of you. That includes you, young man. Look into my eyes. I am the master. And you have been a wonderfully useful audience. It's unknown what took place in a moment after this, but the museum was found with 100 desiccated corpses littering the floor and a strange unblemished spot of ground where a mysterious disused triple-decker train had once stood. The Time War called, and the master was not ready to answer. Todar was reclining on a simple bed of cardboard, blankets, and clothes, staring up into the cloudy sky, wondering listfully which clouds were clouds, and which were fumes from the various industrial plants that littered the planet. His mental meanderings were interrupted by a strange metallic groaning noise that felt distant and overwhelming at the same time. He lifted his body from his makeshift bed and saw something utterly bizarre. A small blue crate with windows and a sign that said Police Public Call Box on a label at its top. A door opened, and out came an equally bizarre sight. A man in a garish, unfathomably ridiculous multicolored coat, cat pinned neatly to the lapel, messy blonde curls, and a face that melded serious determination with unchecked self-assurance. Oh, old girl, I think you brought me to the wrong place again. I'm not picking up the signal we were following at all. Ah, you, young man! The strange man pointed at Todar and began approaching him with a stride Todar could only describe as pompous. To the man's credit, he didn't seem at all off-put by Todar's transient state, which was something he'd gotten used to, living a trainless life. I'm the doctor. I'm trying to track down a rather disagreeable fellow. Have you seen someone up to no good, wearing a lot of black, ego the size of an elephant, maybe a funny beard, rotting corpse in a robe who turns people into dolls and fucks with people's heads? Oh, as far back as that, eh? Well, I enjoy a repeat. Where is he? Dead. Dead? A man like the master doesn't just die. Believe me, I have a rather exhausting level of experience in that folly. Well, he's dead. I exposed him to an overloaded proton engine's energy buildup. You what? Yeah. Should have killed me too. Didn't. Wish it had. I'm not sure I like that kind of talk, young man. I can't keep calling you young man. Reminds me too much of my misguided youth. What's your name? Todar. Todar. I think it's a fantastic thing that you're still alive.
You single-handedly defeated my worst nemesis in an utterly careless and foolhardy way, and lived to tell the tale. If I still wore a hat, I would doff it to you. And I have no family, no home, not even any memories. Tell me the story. All of it. And Todar told him the story. Every detail of what he'd experienced over the past few months. He got to the part about the master revealing the truth about his brother when the doctor stopped him, ready and primed to interject. The Time Lords took your brother. Why would they do that? I was curious. Todar, with your permission, may I peek into your mind? What? What does that even mean? It's a Time Lord ability, a form of telepathy. If that makes it easier to understand, I want to see what they did to your memories. Todar closed his eyes and let out a heavy sigh and nodded. He felt the doctor's hands touch his temples, and a wave of calming peace rippled through his body. It felt like seconds and hours all at once. Then the sensation was gone, and as his eyes opened, he stared into the eyes of the doctor, full of sadness and confusion. You've certainly had some cowboys in there. I'm very sorry. I don't know why my people took your brother, or why they needed you to forget him, but there's not much I could fix. Normally, memories are suppressed and locked away. It makes them easy to recover. Yours were removed entirely. You have a past made of Swiss cheese, full of holes. The only thing that kept you remembering your brother was a psychic imprint. The master found that and expanded it, made it stronger. That's how you remember him. So, I'll never get those memories back. My brother is gone somewhere, kidnapped, locked away, maybe killed, and I can't even get our past together back. I'm truly sorry. I did find one memory, though. One tiny fragment tucked far away in the recesses of your mind. A name. I'm fairly certain it's his. What was it? Somna. Somna. My brother's name was Somna. It feels right. Thank you for that, Doctor. The doctor nodded silently and got back up from the ground, brushing off his coat. He looked around at the trains that surrounded them and sighed before turning back to his crate. He stopped at the door, ran a hand along the side, tracing the wood grain thoughtfully with his fingers, before turning around. A train-covered planet is quite the marvelous sight, but I imagine living here makes it rather tedious. I hate it now. I'm gonna stow away on a cargo hauler, find another planet, try to make a new life. I've lost too many memories here and made too many. I see. Bold, adventurous, risky, foolhardy. You could do that, certainly, or you could come with me in a crate. Don't you remember what the master said about his ship? All those fantastic things? I'm here to tell you they were all true. This crate, as you so flippantly call it, is a TARDIS, time and relative dimensions in space. You could see anything. New planets, new galaxies, possibly even a few universes. And all of that is before we even talk about time. The past and the future, even the sideways of time, are all at our fingertips here. That's a lot to fit into such a cramped space. Oh, you'll be surprised, and I'd like you to be surprised. Come with me. Let's travel together. I've been alone for a while. I could do with a new companion. Can you take me back to when my I cannot. Some moments in time are fixed. You are who you are today because of those events. They cannot be undone. And if the CIA is involved, they'd have added fail-safes and protections to assure their changes stay intact. But anywhere. All of space. And all of time. I will. I'll do it. Then step inside. I think you'll enjoy this.